All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling the single most important question in trading. Why do so many people lose? We're going to break down the biggest mistakes and, more importantly, give you the tools to actually avoid them. Let's do this.
So let's start with this number, 90%. Just let that sink in for a second. That's how many traders fail to make money and eventually they just walk away. It's a tough pill to swallow, for sure. But understanding why this number is so high is your first step to making sure you're not one of them. And here's the real kicker, the whole point of our explainer today. You could have the most amazing, back-tested strategy on the planet, but it is completely useless if you're shooting yourself in the foot with a few critical mistakes. It's not about finding some magic formula. It's about fixing the fundamental leaks in your approach.
To make this real, I want to tell you a story. My story. See, I think every trader has what I call a liquidation lesson. That moment where the market basically grabs you by the collar and says, learn this or you're done. This was mine.
You know, when I first started, I thought being busy meant being productive. I was glued to the screen, jumping in and out of trades, chasing every little wiggle on the chart. My trading volume was massive. But at the end of the month, when I looked at my statement, after all the commissions, the fees, the slippage, and just a ton of bad trades, there was nothing left. I was just churning my account to dust.
Oh man, I call this my aggressive exploration phase, and really it was just pure chaos. I was using way too much leverage, thinking I was going to get rich quick. If a trade went against me, I'd just buy more, averaging down and hoping for a miracle. I had no hard stop loss, no line in the sand. Every single click was an emotional reaction, and I definitely didn't have a kill switch to just say, okay, today's a bad day, shut it down.
And yeah, losing money like that, it was painful. It really was. But looking back now, it was basically the tuition I had to pay to the market. That failure forced me to stop being a gambler and actually figure out what was going wrong. It was the foundation for everything I do now. And what I realized is that my story wasn't special. It turns out almost everyone who fails falls into the exact same traps. I call them the 6 trading sins. These are the real culprits, the reasons most trading accounts just bleed out to zero.
So let's run through them. Number 1, overtrading. That constant itch to be in a trade, thinking activity equals profit. Number 2, no stop loss, which is like driving a race car with no seatbelt. 3, trading on emotion, letting fear and greed drive the bus. 4, having no clear strategy, just clicking buttons based on a gut feeling. 5, ignoring risk management, betting the farm on every trade. And 6, trading during huge news events, basically turning your hard work into a coin flip. Any one of these can wreck you.
But if I had to pick just one, the one that does the most damage, it's trading on emotion. That's the master sin. It's the one that opens the door to all the others. The second your heart starts pounding and your feelings take over, your entire plan, all your rules, they just go right out the window. And you know this feeling. We've all been there. You see a chart just going vertical, everyone screaming about it online, and you get that intense fear of missing out. That's FOMO, and it makes you do the craziest thing. It makes you buy at the absolute worst possible time, usually right at the top, just moments before it all comes crashing down. It's such a powerful psychological trap. And on the other side of that emotional coin is something called loss aversion. Now, studies have actually shown that the pain of taking a loss feels about twice as strong as the joy of an equal win. And because of that, we do really irrational things, like holding on to a losing trade, just hoping and praying it'll come back, because clicking that button to accept the loss is just too painful. It's why so many people at a tiny, manageable loss turn into an account-destroying disaster. All of this led me to a massive aha moment. See, I used to be obsessed with my win rate. I thought, if I can just win 80% of my trades, I'll be rich. But I learned the hard way that you can win 19 small trades in a row, and then one single catastrophic loss can wipe out all of it and then some. So here it is. Your win rate is a vanity metric. It means absolutely nothing if you don't have ironclad risk control.
And when you truly get that, when you really internalize it, that's when everything changes. That's the moment you stop thinking like an amateur and you start developing the mindset of a professional. The entire question you ask yourself every day begins to shift.
And this says it all, doesn't it? The beginner is always on offense, asking, how do I make more money? How do I find more winners? The professional, on the other hand, is obsessed with defense. They're asking, how do I protect what I have? How do I lose less? That shift, right there, from chasing profit to preserving capital, well, that's the whole game.
Okay, so that's the mindset. How do we actually put it into practice? You need a toolkit. A concrete set of rules you follow no matter what. This is the cure. This is how you build a process that can actually last. So, here's what's in that toolkit. First, trade less. Seriously, quality over quantity every single time. Wait for the absolute best setups. Second, always, and I mean always, use a stop loss. It is your non-negotiable insurance policy. Third, risk only 1 to 2% of your account on any single trade. We'll talk more about that. Fourth, follow the trend. It is so much easier to swim with the current than to fight it. And finally, number 5, you have to track your trades in a journal.
Now, that 1 to 2% rule, people fight me on this. They think it's too slow, that it's limiting, but you have to understand, the point of that rule isn't to cap your profits. The point is to guarantee that you can show up to trade tomorrow, and the next day, and the next week. It makes sure that no single bad decision, or even a whole string of them, can ever take you out of the game. It's about survival.
And look, this isn't guesswork. There's a formula for it, and it's dead simple. Your position size is just your total account size times your risk percentage divided by the distance between your entry and your stop. That's it. This simple piece of math ensures you are always in control of your risk every single time.
Now for the last piece of the toolkit, and honestly, this might be the most powerful one of all, the trading journal. This is where you write down everything, not just your entries and exits, but why you took the trade. What was the setup? How were you feeling? This is what turns trading from an emotional roller coaster into a data-driven business.
So why is journaling such a game changer? Well, for one, it forces you to be accountable. You can't hide from your mistakes when they're written down right in front of you. It also builds real confidence because you start to see data that proves your strategy actually works. Every single trade, win or lose, becomes a valuable lesson. And because of that, it dramatically, and I mean dramatically, speeds up how fast you learn and improve.
Okay, we've covered a lot, but I want to boil all of this down to one single powerful rule. If you forget everything else we talked about today, please remember this. More trades do not equal more profit. It's the golden rule. Our brains are wired to think that if we want to make more, we have to do more. In trading, the exact opposite is almost always true. Your profit comes from patience, from discipline, and from precision, not from volume.
Look, I made every single one of these mistakes. I learned all of this the hard, expensive way so that hopefully you don't have to. Master these fundamentals: risk management, patience, emotional control. Think of right now as day one of your real journey as a trader.
So, I'll leave you with a question. Be honest with yourself. Based on everything we just covered, what is the number one mistake you are going to commit to fixing in your trading starting this week? Answer